Hello everyone, Tanak here. Welcome to episode 97 of Building My Industrial Empire in EVE Online. We're getting closer to the big 100. So let's start this week with the progress report. As you can see, my net worth plus that of the corporation is at 226 billion ISK. If you look at the tracker here, you can see that it's pretty stable. Actually, you see more detail about it on my Excel chart. So you see that actually we dropped a little bit compared to last week. So what happened? Tanak dropped. Tanak dropped by value dropped by about 2 bills. The corporation climbed by about 3 bill. 3 bill. Anyway, loss of value on Tanak and Erica. What happened is basically like we did the usual climb, but personally, I told you I wanted to inject in the paladin, which is what I did. So I bought some skill injector, and you're not getting full value when you are at 60 million skill point. So part of that is me injecting into this nice little paladin and buying that nice little paladin. So it's probably not worth it. I haven't had time to use it yet, so it hasn't paid itself yet. Hopefully it will before it gets shot. We'll see. Anyway, obviously I'm going to be careful with that thing and not flying around when it's too risky. So that's pretty much pretty much it for the progress report. Now HR. Here you can see that the weapons of mass production is now at 358 members, so that's +8 compared to last week, which is pretty good, especially comparing to the state of the game right now. So we are growing. In terms of active member in PvP, we're still hovering between the 50 and 60. Here you can see it now. We're at 51 right now. It does climb, and it does climb like 50, and it will goes. It like basically oscillate between 50 and 60. So our online number are pretty much holding. Online present isn't as strong as I would like, but again, here the big issue is the state of the game in general, where you see peaks that are around like 26, which was a good day, and it's peak of 25,000. Clearly, right now there's less people online. If you see like the 2 weeks average is at 19k online, and the 3 months was at 22, 6 months at 26. So clearly, I mean, this was the lowest part of like summer of frustration, or whatever the name was, because I don't remember what this was called, and the summer of discontent. And it's kind of like the same thing here right now, but it's not linked to any big issue. I think that there's maybe some general fatigue with the game. There's some releases right now on New World. I know we have a few of our members that are trying New World. They'll be back. That's the only thing I can tell you. I haven't done a video on New World because I don't want to put too much energy on that. It's a game that is very fun for the first 2 or 3 weeks. The initial player experience in the game is decent, but you soon hit a point where there's basically no depth to that game. So at least unless there's some major change right now, I don't see that game as having some long-term wind in its sail. But again, they might change that. But I get the feeling that it might be impacting the number of people online. If I base myself on what I'm seeing in Corp in Alliance. But again, our number are still, we still have people online every day. We still, I mean, right now is probably our lowest point in the night, and we're at 13 online. And we do pick up to 40, 45 online during our prime time zone in Euro time. Obviously, I'd like to target US time zone, to build our US time zone to a larger size, especially since our coalition fleet, we do get a lot more coalition ping on US time zone. So anyway, that's it for DHR, but still, all in all, I would say it's a pretty good week. Military, okay. Military, a lot of stuff have been happening this week, and I personally participated in a few operations. Again, this is the WOMP space, and the neighboring constellation in Imensia is where we are fighting with the Fire Coalition. So there is a lot of fight in Imensia and Tenerife against Fire. I will give you four battle report to tell you it, like in order to show you a little bit on how it went. The first one was last Saturday for me, where we went against a bigger group of Fire, which are aided by Test and most of their fleet. So we went and fought them. We were outnumbered, but this fight went pretty well for us. We were in Tengus fighting Munins, so this one went pretty well for us. A second one the next day, where we did engage. So here we're on the right side here. We did engage a fleet which was a lot more numerous than us, and we still managed to win the escort, but the fight was more even. But again, compared to the number we had on grid, I would say that it was still, I would call that a win for us. Again, nice fight, us in Tengus against some Eagle, some Munins too. Yeah, some Munins too. So again, pretty cool fight. This one, even considering the number, I think that this one we can say that we won, especially that we took the fight even though we were pretty outnumbered. Now, a little bit later during the week, we went to try and help a group in the Great Wildland, and Pandemic Horde showed up. And again, we were with our trusty Tengus, fighting Macarial from NSH, plus Serbs, plus basically plus Munins, so a lot of people against us. At least twice our number, or close to twice our number. So we were kind of, I think that, again, this particular fight, I wasn't there. It happened when I wasn't at home, but my guess is that based on those two victories, we thought that this one would go well. They did drop some Titan to blast our facts off the map, and we ended up losing that specific fight pretty heavily because of the Titan drop. I wasn't at the fight, so the specific of the battle, I can't comment on it too much, but that battle report speaks for itself. So this one was a loss for us. But again, we're fighting typically fleet twice our size. So there was one fight earlier, just before I recorded this video, where we went to fight Fire, and this time we had the numerical advantage, but we didn't bring the Tengus. We went with Serbs against Munin, and didn't go as well as we planned. So this one we'll scratch it off as a loss for us. So this one was not our best fight. So anyway, all in all, good fights all around. It was a lot more interesting week than the week before, where we had a lot of blue ball or missed opportunities. So this one we were more often in the range where both sides were willing to take the fight. So a lot of cool fights that are happening, which is what this game is all about. So the fights are mostly happening around the southern part of Tenerife. This one was a high hub we were defending here, so it belonged to Bear in Mind. We went to help defend, and we lost that high hub fight. So they actually Legion of Death managed to grab the high hub here. So that's pretty much it for the front here. So lots of fight here, less fight in Imencia this week, more small gang stuff. Obviously there is like some of our guys that will go to Rome and some of their guys that will come to Rome or space. Again, that's just content. That's, I wouldn't say it's big organized operation. It's more like okay, you got neighbors and you shoot at them, which is actually kind of cool because that's what you want to do in game. If you're blue with all your neighbor, the game gets boring pretty quickly. So this, I don't mind. I mean, it happened. We go to their space, they come to ours. They try to grab our ratters or our miners, and we do the same to them. Some blops, stuff like that. Pretty cool. I mean, if you go overall, how did the week go for WOMP? Again, I like to show the weekly compare. So we're at 69% dangerous. Oh, nice. And so recent, I don't know recent how long in the past, like was it like just today or, but during the week, which is a good indicator of how the week went overall, we're at 69% dangerous. All time we're climbing. We're at 42. We're now at 44. We were at 43 last week, so we're getting like 1% a week, basically, since we're in catch. And it also, this is one thing that I do want, because one of the goals that we had after our Geminate invasion was that we wanted to build a tighter group where we really took the time to onboard the guys and girls properly in the group, and that we would aim more on quality, good communication instead of just padding numbers and clicking accept on anybody that apply to the corp, which will bring, if you do that, it will give you a larger fleet, but larger fleet that doesn't listen necessarily as much to the FCs, that aren't as tight. And I mean, we did decided that we wanted to go more quality than quantity as a philosophy of how we manage the alliance, and this goes in part. I mean, but again, a quantity is a quality in itself, so you do need numbers, but you do want to have a tight-knit group, and that's what we are building right now. And it does show like we're having even stuff that we do on our own. I mean, any kill board, you'll see some stupid stuff happening again occasionally, but all in all, I think that it is getting better. But again, as a CEO, you can't, you're not flying every ship in your alliance. Somebody will do stuff that you don't necessarily agree with at some point, but I mean, you deal with it. It's part of a big group. You can't look at every individual instances of stuff happening. You just look at the big picture. So look at your weekly number, you look at your progression on a longer term. Again, my personal week was, again, pretty nice. I killed 170 ship and I lost 2 this week. So one was Gila that I think I lost last week, and I lost a Serb on that last fleet here, where I just got alpha off the field. I didn't even have time to fire my active damage control. So anyway, I'm progressing again. I'm not obsessing over my personal kill board number. This 76% dangerous is not a reflection of how good I am as a pilot. I mean, I do know how to listen in fleet, and I'm not not as afraid to fight in game. I do have like a lot. I'm starting to be at a point where I do have some experience, but I never was and I never will be an elite pilot. But I would say I'm good at being smart enough to know which fight I can take and coordinate with people to make sure that I'm in a favorable situation when there's an engagement. So, and obviously nobody's perfect, so I don't win all the time. But all in all, the fight this week were pretty good and pretty nice content. Now, what else do I have to say? That's pretty much it on the military side. One thing that we are seeing though is that fire does seem to be growing in numbers. They are recruiting a bunch of different alliances that are either joining them or at least showing up with them on fight. So aside from that last specific battle that we did get, we were outnumbered in every single fight that we had before, but not enough that it makes the fight unwinnable. So we're still in the range where we will take battle, and all in all, that's pretty good. I mean, it's as balanced as fight gets in EVE, I would say. And again, the goal of the coalition, I'm not in coalition senior leadership. I'm just one CEO of a bunch of group. But the goal of this entire war for us is mostly to generate content for member, which is what we're getting. So all in all, I would say that's pretty cool. Also, one thing that I do look at though is like, even if they're occupying the space, they don't seem to be using it that much, because the ADM are still relatively low. So it does seem that, and when you see a region with low EDM like that, it's either mean that they don't live there or they have more space than what they're capable of ratting, so they kind of overstretch. The way I look at it is like, I had a number in my head that was the number that I have in my head is like, you can basically fit like 10 to 20 active pilot per system, depending on how you're spread across time zone. Obviously, if you're all at the same, logged in at the same 2 hours during the day, it won't work. But you can easily fit 10 to 15 people. So like for us Swamp, our space, we could probably double our number right now with the space we own, and we wouldn't have any problem with people competing for site. Could we maintain another constellation? Possibly. It is something that we could spread over more space, but at some point it would affect the life of our member, because we would be spread very thin if some roamer came in our pocket and we needed to fight back. Also, we would be non-stop trying to maintain EDM at a certain point. So you don't want, as a CEO, to be too big and not able to maintain your space. It's just not. It's not an efficient use of space, and it's not even fun, because aside from looking big on the map, it just induces more responsibility on your member to maintain all that space. And if you're all the time stuck ratting and you don't even have time to go roam or to go take fights or stuff like that, I mean, you're playing ratting simulator online, so it's not as fun. So anyway, I'm just rambling at this point. Aside from that, industry, not much. Again, we are building our wallet a little bit. before we commit more assets on grid. I want to be in a situation where we have a buffer if we need to make some big investment or some stuff like that. We do have some people that are ratting and building their own wallet and bringing some nicer toy in the area, and we are building some of these toy in-house. So industry is basically, we're just running with the setup we have now, which is actually pretty decent. So we're okay with that. Our objective, of course, is to get to the point. Again, we want to get to the point where we want an Asbel in pocket to be capable again of building caps. But with the current cap price, they're just not worth building. So we're in no hurry to do that. We are slowly starting to pile up stuff to be able to anchor one when needed. So that's pretty much it. Personally, well, I did get in my paladin this week. You can see that my skill, I'm now at 62 million skill points, so starting to have some skills. I am working on Marauder 4 just to increase my damage a little bit, and then I want to push for heavy drones, T2. I do use faction now, but I got T2 light and medium, but I want to push for T2 heavy. Heavy assault missile, which I don't have the T2 yet. And the rest is just, I'm just dumping stuff there to make sure that that there is, but I would say that these are stuff I'm working on right now. Then work on maybe my rigging skill. Again, the goal of with this character is I want to be like a really good subcap pilot before I even think of going to cap, but I'm not running with a cap alt, so at some point I might need to build I do have some alt that I'm building on alpha account and just collecting my daily bonus. So I do have another character that has close to 10 million skill point that I don't really play aside from collecting the daily bonus, that could be trained, could eventually become a cap alt if I needed. Tanak can fly a Moras and I can fly a carrier. So my logic, again, as a player, I'm not somebody that's obsessed with alt. I don't like playing alt. I like when I play an MMORPG that I'm this guy or this character. So I play that character. I don't like to like lug another multi-box or lug another character. That's just not my style, and that's something I enjoy in game. So I don't really do it. So anyway, I've been rambling long enough for now. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Our goal for the following weeks is, again, we want to work on recruitment, increasing our number, getting more people in pocket. US time zone 2. We are starting to get some little interesting toy in pocket to be able to do some fun stuff. So hopefully we'll be able to run some operation of our own. Take the guys on roams. Coalition fleet will of course continue to happen. So all in all, basically active EVE content. We're on the industry side, we are mostly going to be, at this point, we're not going to anchor an Asbel until there's some change announced in cap or the price raised to the point where they become again interesting to produce. But we do have other structure to be able to we can handle pretty much all the production except for caps for now. So that's it. See you guys next week. Bye bye.